My wish is going to center around the neighborhood revitalization. Because I think we're making it
Hey, we're live.
I've been on a heater.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. If we could please stand, and we'll have Pastor William Mitchell with our invocation.
Forgive me, Pastor. Let's pray. Lord, we give thanks for the opportunity to gather here today in service to this community. We're grateful for the city of Atchison, its history, its people, and the shared responsibility we carry to guide its future. May this council remain mindful of all who call this community home, honoring diverse perspectives while seeking the common good. Strengthen the bonds between neighbors and inspire actions that promote safety, opportunity, and the well-being for all. As we conduct the business before us, may we do so with humility, patience, and a genuine desire to serve. Let this time together reflect the best of our shared values. This we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you very much, and thank you, Pastor Mitchell. We appreciate it greatly. Yes, ma'am, come in, please. Come in. All right, it gives me great pleasure. We have 3 proclamations. We'll do them in this order. And I will call the meeting to order. All right, now we have 3 proclamations. Our first is for Octavia Burnett and Octavia Burnett Day. Then we will have the Week of the Young Children, and then Child Abuse Prevention Month. And I think I will have Octavia, if you could please stand. This is Octavia Burnett. She is a high school student at Atchison High School. They are very proud. I am also a teacher at Atchison High School, so very proud of you, Octavia, and it gives me great pleasure to read your proclamation. Whereas the Atchison High School wrestling program has a 48-year history dating to its founding in 1978, and whereas girls wrestling became a Kansas State High School Activities Association sanctioned sport during the 2019-2020 season, and whereas Atchison High School junior Octavia Burnett has been recognized by her coaches and teammates as a leader for both the boys and girls wrestling teams, showing commitment, demonstrating resilience, fostering teamwork, and mentoring other athletes. And whereas Octavia Burnett completed a successful 2025-2026 wrestling season by qualifying first at regionals and ultimately winning the Acacia 4A Girls Wrestling State Championship in the 145 weight class. And whereas Octavia Burnett became the first wrestler from Atchison High School to win a state championship in wrestling in any weight class, boys or girls. And whereas Octavia Burnett's coaches, teachers, teammates, and classmates, along with all of Atchison High School and the city of Atchison, wish to recognize her accomplishments and her leadership. Now, therefore, I, La Rochelle Young, Mayor of Atchison, Kansas, do hereby proclaim Friday, April 10th, 2026, as Octavia Burnett Day in Atchison, Kansas. it is dated the 6th day of April 2026. And Octavia, I know you are here with your coaches. If your coaches could please stand, and some of your teammates. We are very proud of you, young lady. Very, very proud of you. And would one of her coaches wish to say something? You may, if you'd like. And if you do, you could go back to the podium, or you can use why don't you just come here? And if you'd like to say a little bit about Octavia.
Well, he's the head coach.
Okay, all right, all right.
That was my fault. That was my fault.
Don't get too comfortable. $70 a year.
I just wanted to say, it's wrestling is a male-dominated sport, and to see Octavia come and be a leader of our team as a female, and to really just make history is really cool, and I'm super, super proud of her. So
Yes.
that's all.
That's fine. All right. We will move the chair back, and gentlemen, let's come on in so that we can all be a part of this.
Does she still have to go to school Friday?
Thank you.
All right, and
Lose the chair.
I won't steal that one.
Okay. Okay, all right. Next, we will have the Atchison Child Care Association, First Steps Childhood Learning, and other local organizations. If you would kindly stand, please. Okay. All right. Whereas Atchison Child Care Association, First Steps Childhood Learning Center, and other local organizations, in conjunction with the National Association for the Education of Young Children, is celebrating the Week of the Young Child, April 13th through 17th, 2026. And whereas Atchison Child Care Association has been working to improve early learning opportunities since 1968, including early literacy programs that can provide a foundation of learning for children in Atchison, Kansas. And whereas teachers and others who are effective in the lives of young children in Atchison, Kansas deserve thanks and recognition. And whereas public policies that support early learning for all young children are crucial to young children's futures. Now, therefore, I, La Rochelle Young, Mayor of the City of Atchison, Kansas, do hereby proclaim April 13th through the 17th, 2026, as the Week of the Young Children in Atchison, Kansas, and encourage all citizens to work to make a promising investment in early childhood in Atchison, Kansas, dated this 6th day of April 2026. So thank you so very much for all you have done. All right, if you'd like to come up, we'll take a picture with you as well. And before you come up, would you like to say something?
You want to go
Well, I would like to say thank you so much to everyone in our community that has supported us over these years. It truly has been a privilege and an honor to serve these families for 58 years. I'm on my 40th year. The GOAT, the main dog right here that started it in 1968, the visionary that she had was just beyond her time and beyond her years. And I'm so thankful to try to walk in her footsteps, although it's too big. I have to forge my own path. But I do thank you, and especially all of you that have surrounded me when I needed it, been there for my kids. We plan to be here forevermore. So thank you so much. Still there, 58 years later. On one side and I'll get on the other. How's that sound?
That sounds wonderful. Okay, gentlemen? Yeah. Everyone has to be a part. All right.
I'll show you the best time ever.
I'll just note,
Thank you.
I'll just note for those watching on the screens that ACCA did stop by earlier today with several of the kids, so they got their picture taken in the city commission room as well.
All right. And then our final proclamation tonight regarding Child Abuse Prevention Month. And do we have anyone here that is represented by the Child Care? If you would please stand. Please stand. And are you with CASA or? Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right. Whereas in fiscal year 2025, 70,303 reports were made to Child Protective Services in the state of Kansas. I'm going to read that again, actually. Whereas in fiscal year 2025, 70,303 reports were made to Child Protective Services in the state of Kansas. And whereas child abuse and neglect is a serious problem affecting every segment of our community, and finding solutions requires input and action from everyone. And whereas our children are our most valuable resources and will shape the future of the state of Kansas. And whereas child abuse can have long-term psychological, emotional, and physical effects that have lasting consequences for victims of abuse. And whereas protective factors are conditions that reduce or eliminate risk and promote the social, emotional, and developmental well-being of children. And whereas effective child abuse prevention activities succeed because of the partnerships created between child welfare professionals, education, health, community, and faith-based organizations, businesses, law enforcement agencies, and families. Whereas communities must make every effort to promote program and activities that create strong and thriving children and families. And whereas we acknowledge that we must work together as a community to increase awareness about child abuse and contribute to promote the social and emotional well-being of children and families in a safe, stable, and nurturing environment. And whereas prevention remains the best defense for our children and families. Now therefore, I, Mayor La Rochelle Young, do hereby proclaim April 2026 as National Child Abuse Prevention Month in Atchison, Kansas, and urge all citizens to recognize this month by dedicating ourselves to the task of improving the quality of life for all children and families. Dated this 6th day of April, 2026. And the ladies of CASA, would one of you like to address us? Because this is a very serious issue. We thank you for your service in this area.
Thank you. Thank you for letting us be here today. So CASA stands for Court Appointed Special Advocates. And what we do is we are a volunteer-based organization, and we train dedicated volunteers to become a voice for children who are either in the foster care system or who have been placed outside of their natural home for whatever reason that may be. So it is very much court appointed, and we work with the judicial system, and our volunteers, they are the beacon for this child. So they stand by the child, and they also have contact with all of the important people in that child's life. so that they can then go on to create something called a court report that is heavily relied upon by the judicial system. We also have a child visitation center, and we operate in Leavenworth County, but also right here in Atchison County. And the child visitation centers are basically there so that the non-custodial parent can visit with their child, and it is a safe space and a safe drop-off location.
Okay, all right, thank you very much.
You are so
Thank
welcome.
you. Please come up and let's get a picture.
Anyone?
Join us.
Come on, Jesse. Mr. Greenleaf. You.
Doing the good work.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you for Malik and Whitney.
Okay, all right, wonderful. Now, Tina, if you could please call our roll.
Mayor Young,
Present.
Vice Mayor Wilcox.
Present.
Commissioner Greenlee.
Present.
Commissioner Murphy.
Present.
Commissioner Slattery.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. At this time, we will open our public forum. And just for a reminder, our public forum, persons who wish to address the City Commission regarding items that are not on the agenda, so items that are not on the agenda, may do so at this time when called upon by the mayor. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes and should give their name and address when addressing the commission. Any presentation is for information purposes only. Any and all written communication should be deposited with the city clerk. At this time, we'll open our public forum. Do we have anyone here who wishes to speak on items that are not on the agenda, that are not printed? Okay. If not, we will close our public forum. All right, at this time, we will welcome our city manager, Mr. Mark Westhoff, with our consent agenda. Mr. Westhoff.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. 3 items on the consent agenda tonight. The first is to approve the minutes of your regular March 16th, 2026 City Commission meeting. Second is to approve the minutes of the March 16th, 2026 special meeting that was held immediately after to discuss the NRP with the other local entities. And the third is to authorize the city manager to complete an agreement for the city of Atchison to utilize the Interlocal Purchasing System Program, or TIPS. This is one purchasing co-op. The city's part of a number of these. They enable us to competitively bid projects of a certain scope while not having to wait for the long public process for competitive bids. These companies do the bids already, and they hold them for a certain amount of time and renew them annually and regularly. So we're a part of a number of these. This one was brought to our attention as another one that might be helpful for us. There's no cost and there's no obligation.
All right, any questions? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I'll move we accept the
Okay,
consent agenda.
it's been moved. Is there a second? All right, it's been moved and seconded that we accept the consent agenda as printed. All those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, thank you very much. Next, we have a number of public hearings that we will be discussing, and then we have resolutions that follow. The first one, and
I
if...
have a question.
Yes.
Is there a problem with moving number 16 to number 1 in the order of the discussion?
Yeah.
Oh,
Is there an
okay.
issue?
Bob, I don't think there's any problem with that.
Is
No.
there? Okay, okay. Vice Mayor, would you like to move?
I
That we
move that we move number 16.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we move number 16, which is skate park expansion, to item number 1. Any discussion? All those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. All right, so we will take up item number 16, which is now our new item number 1, skate park expansion, design and construction. Mr. McNamee?
This is on page 116 of your packet, if you need to jump to that.
All right, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
If I can get my paper clip off. Go. So kind of as a review, last year during the budget season, the Skate High with Hope Foundation, or the Joshua McKinnon Foundation discussed expanding the Reasoner Park skate park with commissioners during the budget workshops. The discussion resulted in the project's inclusion in the 2026 capital improvement plan with a budget of $350,000, contingent upon $150,000 of donation from the foundation. At a previous meeting last month, the commission authorized us to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the foundation to proceed with the project, the expansion. I just got updated tonight. The foundation has achieved their funding goal. And the proposal for tonight is the contract with the design and builder. So it's Pillar Design with Artisan Skate Parks as the builder. Last communication, they said that they have spots, or a spot at least, for construction this year, so that's good. We've kind of went back and forth with price. Last time we spoke about this when we were talking about the MOU, the latest construction estimate was up to $395,000. After some back and forth with Pillar, the contract proposed tonight is for $350,000. So that's congruent with what we budgeted last year. And so I'm asking for authorization to move forward with that contract tonight.
Okay, do we have any questions? Any questions? And Mr. McNamee, you said that the foundation has achieved their fundraising goal, which is $150,000, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's very good, very, very good. Thank you for that. If there are no questions, I would entertain a motion.
I make such a motion.
Okay, is there a second? I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded that we authorize staff to execute the proposed contract with Pillar Design Studio and Artisan Skate Park for the skate park expansion project totaling $350,000 with $150,000 private funding and $200,000 from the CIP. Any questions?
Is this the design we're working with now from here on page?
If is that the one you're looking up on the screen? Yes. Yeah, so the expansion includes that, what's on the north there is the bowl, kind of like a swimming pool bowl.
Skate bowl.
And then the dark area on the south side is the pump track. So anything shaded in on that drawing is the expansion part.
Where's the part that's there now? Is that on here?
That's the white,
That's the
white
triangular
outline
shaped-
triangle in the middle. Yeah.
So it's all gonna be connected?
Correct. Yep. And it will be connected via sidewalk with the rest of the park as well.
It already has
It
a
already
sidewalk.
is, but yeah, I'm just saying it's connected to the rest of Reasoner Park.
Okay, excellent. Any other questions? Okay, if not, let's move to vote. All those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. Congratulations. Would you like to say a few words?
Well, like always, just thank you. Thank you for making it an easy process for us to work with. I know we had some tough days, but 9 years and we've made it work, and that's where we got the donations, is from the city, from the people, so we are very appreciative. That's all.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations. All right. Okay, we have next our demolition for public hearing, and all of these will be conducted by, Mr. Curtis Wheeler will be walking us through these. So, Mr. Wheeler, the first one, property located at 403 South Fifth Street. That's pages 19 through 29.
Correct. Good evening, and not much has changed on these. We have a few people here to represent the, several of the homes. Starting with 403 South Fifth, there's not. So not much has changed. Haven't had a chance to talk to the owner any more than what I did the last time. The house is in, nothing has been done to it to better it. So we're going to continue to ask for a 30-day demolition order on that house, with hopes that we can, get in touch with Miss Hayes and get her to sell it or do something positive with it for the community.
Okay. Okay, all right. With that,
You're requesting another 30 days, is that what you just said?
Or a 30-day demolition order. That's our base. Okay. That's our base order.
So we still would have to open the public hearing and call for any comment for or against.
okay. So, all right, anything else that you would like to add, Mr. Wheeler, before we open the public hearing?
No.
Okay, if not, we are going to open the public hearing at 4:56. Is there anyone here to speak on behalf of property located at 403 South Fifth Street? If not, we are closing the public hearing now, also at 4:56. All right. So we have resolution number 3446 on the same property. To Mr. Wheeler, you are requesting that we adopt this resolution that will be condemned and ordered repaired or demolished. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion?
Is that on the same property?
It is.
Yes, just that first property.
Do they have to contact the city, the owners, whether they're going to demolish or repair within 30 days, or they have to have it done within 30 days?
They would have 30 days. If they contacted us and set up a reasonable time frame beyond 30 days, we're absolutely going to work with them on that. But otherwise, the 30 days, just if we don't hear anything, at that point in time, the city could move on and with the demolition.
I might be asking you to repeat yourself, but have you had contact with the owners?
Not in a long time. Only her mother. Yeah, I've not been able to get a hold of her directly.
But we did send certified letter.
Correct. Certified letter we posted, published, all the things that we're required to do.
So these have been published in the newspaper, and we've sent certified letters to the listed property owners.
On all of these?
On all of them,
Okay.
yes.
So the taxes haven't been paid since 2021.
Correct.
Have we made any progress with the county on this tax sale? You know,
I don't know.
I mean,
No.
they set the tax sale based on their own parameters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Okay. If not, in light of the fact that taxes have not been paid since 2021, you have not been able to get in contact with anyone. And how long did you say?
It's been quite a while. I haven't talked to her in years, the owner, Miss Hayes. I've talked to her mother several times in an attempt to try to get a hold of the owner. We've tried to help her through Habitat in years past, and we've tried to offer assistance over the past 10 years and have just had no luck. So this just seemed like the next option. The house continues to lean, and so there's some concern with
So it's a
that.
local owner that owns this house?
Do what?
It's a local owner?
I don't believe anymore. She was living in it, but it's my understanding she moved, but her mother's local.
Okay.
The water service has been off for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody was moving something in or out of that house.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, they might have storage in it. I don't know. I haven't been inside of it.
Okay.
In like I said, 7 or 8 years.
Okay. In light of that, then I would move that we adopt Resolution 3446, a resolution as to why The structure located at 403 South Fifth Street should be condemned and ordered repaired or demolished. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we adopt this resolution. All in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay. Our next property is located at 601 Parallel Street.
Correct. Owned by the HSH Group LLC. I've spoken with this owner on numerous occasions. The story was always he planned on rehabbing. He had investors. There was a fire at some point, so that created some issue. I've emailed him. I've talked to him on the phone. I think he's even talked to people within the organization about trying to figure out how to get monies and get this thing repaired. But nothing ever happens with it. It's still sitting in the same condition. This has been quite a few years now that the fire happened. Taxes are multiple years delinquent. Water's been off since 2023. And I'm just not having any luck getting it moving. So meets the criteria, so kind of the next stage.
Okay.
You know how
All
much
right.
the taxes are on it?
I don't. I looked it up, and it's I have that paperwork somewhere, but I just don't have it with me.
Okay. All right. At this point, if there are no other comments or concerns, let's open up the hearing. So I will hereby open up the public hearing on property located at 601 Parallel Street at 501. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak for or against this demolition hearing for property located at 601 Parallel?
I think this is an example that could be rebuilt.
Let's wait for there's public comment and then we can have commissioner comment after.
All right, if not, we are closing the public hearing at 5:02 PM. Okay.
Now we can
yes.
have our
Now,
comments as well.
What were you
I
saying?
just think this is an example of a house that could be rebuilt, redone. There's an awful lot of house here, I realize that. I've never been in it, so I might be completely wrong about that.
It's another one. I mean, I always say you can repair anything with the right amount of money.
Right.
The fire upstairs got into rafters. I mean, you can just. I mean, there's gonna be quite a bit of rebuilding. Yeah, sure, it could probably be fixed. You're
But we
just
have a
talking.
property
I mean, you're
owner
talking
who's-
about gutting the thing out and electrical and plumbing and, like I said, redoing rafters and doing probably on the upstairs pretty solid rebuild on that part. Again, could be done then with all the water damage that had happened from when the fire. So
I'd sure like to see it go through the tax sale, see if somebody has any interest in it. And the problem is all those taxes add up and you can't only buy the thing for taxes.
yeah,
Pay much. That's why it's very important, I think, to try to get the tax sale. Before we tear them down, and have a bigger bill against somebody's going to pay for it.
Well, the
Yeah.
tax sale, they don't have to pay, the purchaser does not have to pay what's owed on the property at the tax sale. That's the whole point. It actually encourages these to get onto the tax sale because
Right.
if you put it on now, they look at it and they say, well, now I'm gonna have to, I would 100% have to cover all of this demolition cost. And so then they're less likely to bid on it.
That's what my point is. If
if-
you put it on the tax sale, it would avoid all those back charges on it. Somebody would be able to go from basically zero perhaps to, it makes a lot of difference in how you can do it. That's why I'm pushing for a tax sale on these. If we can get it done, well, I think we ought to do it. I think we ought to hold off on tearing a couple down because of that possibility.
There are a couple other examples here of us attempting to do that. And there are, I mean, not to necessarily color this one, but there are at least two examples in here of properties that were in a dilapidated state, went to the tax sale, were purchased at a low cost, and now we're 7 years later of the person who purchased it at that low cost being unable to do the work, and the property has continued to deteriorate for 7 more years, and now it's back on the docket. So again, not necessarily to color this one, however, we have a property owner who is not doing that work that needs to be done with it. It's continuing to deteriorate every day. As you can see, it's exposed the elements. So that's why we, ultimately, it meets the criteria where the repair costs, the demolition costs even are over the value of are higher than the value of the property, so.
Okay.
Does the city then put another lien on this property?
There is, and that means that we can collect at the tax sale up to that lien. Now, obviously, with demolitions, we rarely collect all of that back. That's why it's a public service to try to get some of these properties, in a state where they can be built back in some way. But at the most recent tax sale last year, the city was able to recoup more of the assessments on properties than any year in the past 10 years before that. Properties were selling for a higher value, and we were able to be made whole on a handful. Some of these, obviously, with the cost of the demolitions, it's unlikely that we'd be made whole completely, but we would increase our share of the tax sale cost to come back, if that makes sense.
This doesn't fall into the hands of the, what am I trying to think of? Land bank.
So the land bank has previously purchased properties like this at the tax sale when other private investors are not interested in the properties. Curtis and I attended the tax sale last year on behalf of the land bank. In that same capacity, we had authority from the land bank trustees to make a purchase on any property that was not being bid on, so that we can take ownership of it and try to rehab it and sell it. We did not make a single bid at last year's tax sale because, again, there were private investors who were making purchases of those properties, which is far preferable for us. However, the land bank will continue. I'll continue to attend those when the county holds those tax sales, and look for properties that no one is interested in, that maybe we are the right entity to try to move those forward for an investor.
Two issues. Okay. One, it has sat there long enough that, and the location that it's in, that people see it every day. If someone wanted to invest in that house, they would have probably stepped forward at this point in time and tried to do that. I think, given, again, its location, it's a higher probability someone will want to purchase that. I think it's a corner lot.
And its zoning is pretty favorable too.
And build something new rather than sinking a lot of money into this home. So, in a lot of ways, I think it's past being a financial plus for someone to put money into this house.
I think if you got rid of the tax bill, it would maybe work. I've done a bunch of taxes. You got 3 or 4 years of taxes, that really changes the whole equation.
Okay. Do we have a motion to adopt Resolution 3447?
I would move that we adopt that.
Okay, it's been moved. All right, it's been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 3447, a resolution as to why the structure located at 601 Parallel Street should be condemned and ordered repaired or demolished. Any further questions? If not, all those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Okay, we have 4 in favor of and 1 opposed. Motion carries. Okay, next, public hearing, or demolition public hearing for property located at 712 Riley Street.
Yes, resolution number 3448. We have a couple of family members here to speak on this property. This is an odd one. We talked about this last time. As Mark mentioned, we went to the last sale. This house was on there and sold. I don't know what happened. I called the county. I can't get an answer to kind of what's going on with it. The family doesn't exactly know what's going on because they were under the impression it also sold. So not really for sure right now. So they made the trip to come down just to be able to speak. But
Okay.
But this house is, as you can tell, a lot of years of back taxes, in a state of disrepair. It's just been sitting vacant for quite a while. Water service has been off since 2022. We'd worked with the owner a few years ago to try to get something it's been quite a few years ago now, to try to get it rehabbed at that time, and we were just not able to ever get that working, and since then, he'd passed, and like I said, it's just kind of been sitting there and continued to deteriorate, and it's an estimated value of $9,500, and got at least, $65,000-$70,000 worth of repairs needed, so that's why I bring it before you. And
Okay, and you said the family is here
yes,
from the
yes.
previous owner, and then you said that there was confusion?
previous/current owner, because again, just not
Okay.
understanding his. Is that what it?
You can call
Okay.
for the public
Okay,
hearing
all right.
and they can come
Okay,
up and
let's
speak.
go ahead and move to the public hearing. So I will open the public hearing at 5:10. Okay, and it looks like that we have individuals here that are speaking on behalf of the property. Is that accurate? Okay. Yes, if you can please state your name and address for our record, please.
Full address?
The city where you live is fine.
Okay.
Yes.
Shauna Downing, Lawrence, Kansas.
Matthew Downing, 2805 Meadow Drive, Lawrence.
Okay,
Anything
go
you'd like
ahead.
to
So
say?
it did go to tax sale, which we were not notified of because none of us live here in Atchison. So we found out about it actually the day of the sale.
Okay.
So then we had to hire an attorney. He went back and appealed it, fought it, whatever. Then as far as I know, it's still waiting on the judge to sign off on it or something because that owner never responded to it or anything. So that's why we hadn't started doing anything. We have a couple of bids and we've talked to a couple contractors about doing some work, but we wasn't able to do that until we heard back on the tax sale. And then I had somebody driving by a couple times a month, check on the house. She said, oh, there's something on the door. So then we got this notice. So I guess first we need to update the address so that you can get a hold of us or send notices. But we had a couple contractors come out and he said the whole house doesn't need to be demolished, probably the first half. But we were waiting to hear back from the tax sale.
Okay, all right. Mr.
Did your dad
Downing?
use this as a rental property?
No, that's where he lived until he passed,
What year did he pass, remind me?
2022.
Okay. Mr. Downing, did you want to
I
add?
just drove, I'm the driver.
Okay, all right, okay, all right. Do we have anyone else that would like to speak on behalf of this property?
What would you like to see happen?
My son would like to rehab it.
Okay,
What kind of timeline?
He graduates in June and will be home officially. He was here a couple weeks. His class is online, so he's kind of moving stuff back and forth. I got a couple people that said they can come out and look at it next week to kind of start some of the demo. First thing I know, there's a tree that's got to come down and some other stuff. So again, we just didn't find out about this like on Wednesday of last week.
So I guess what we're asking for is a little more time to get that kind of stuff worked out before the 30-day demolition.
okay.
That's gonna be the possibility at the end of it anyway, but to give us a little more time just because of that situation, notice that.
Okay, about how much time were you thinking? Okay, okay.
That's fine. Could be back, but I'm saying not yet.
Gives you a chance.
Yeah, so if we could do 120 days, that'd be best.
Okay.
And then we can get Curtis my information so that we
Okay.
can stay in touch and he can send notices. I thought when we notified the courthouse that all the other notices were that way, but
Okay,
So
okay.
you think that it's worth putting?
it's worth it to me. It may not be worth it to anybody else, but it's worth it to me.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Why?
Okay, yeah,
That's
that's
a
fine.
good reason.
Okay.
I'd never
it
cross your
is.
dad, so.
No. Okay, all right. Anything else? If not, yes.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm really confused because we were there. They
The tax sale
ruled.
happened.
Yeah,
And
and
then-
usually they don't let someone walk out the door without paying for the property, but the deed never changed title, so I'm not sure what
Because
happened.
we appealed it on that same day. Only thing I know is they said the judge is not there anymore. They haven't replaced the judge. It's still sitting there. Because we tried to find out, they tried to find out last week after we heard about this.
Right.
Last year's tax sale.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, I can reach out to up at the county too. It's the county holds the tax sale, and works on that process. So I can reach out to him too, Curtis, and
Okay.
see if I can get any information for you.
Okay, all right, and we're comfortable with 120 days?
You want to
Yeah,
close?
I will.
yeah.
Okay, all right, if there are no further questions, discussions, we'll close the hearing at 5:15 PM.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, so,
We need a
Okay.
motion to postpone this for 100.
Well, I think Curtis
Yeah.
will make a recommendation
Yeah.
to, do you want to postpone this 120 days, or do you want to change it from 30 to 120? Yeah, okay. That's what we did in the last situation.
Okay.
And we were
Need a motion?
successful with that.
Need a motion for that?
yes,
You would need a
we will.
motion to amend the resolution to 120 days instead of 30.
I'll make that motion.
I'm confused. What
I'll
do we-
second.
I don't want to.
Sorry, sorry.
Changing the order from a 30-day to 120. Once you get everything cleared up, at some point I may have to come back. It just gives you more time to figure it out.
As long as you stay in contact with Curtis, then
Start to make some progress.
he can keep them updated.
Okay.
Yeah. So we had a motion
Yes, we
to
did.
change it from 30 to 120.
Mike,
Second.
Okay.
you made the motion.
You made the motion, and then did,
I second it.
okay, all right, Commissioner Murphy seconded. Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we are amending Resolution 3448 to reflect 120 days. If there are no further questions, all those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried, so 120 days. Okay, thank you.
All right, so next we have resolution number 3449, 716 Laramie. The owner is Robert and Felicia Tooley. I believe you're here with us this evening. This is a house that, as Mark referenced earlier, that was bought at a tax sale along with a couple others years ago. It's just continued to sit there and deteriorate. Taxes are, 4.5 years delinquent. Water's been off since 2014. So we mow it every year. I've tried reaching out. I've never been able to get a hold of them, so I'm glad that they're here tonight. However, that order was able to make its way through. So it's an estimated value at $19,470. I've got it estimated at almost $70,000 to repair. And that's without doing a thorough interior inspection. That's just on the garage and a lot of the perceived damage that you could see. So, so with that, I think we have the public hearing, and we'll get
Okay.
them up here and kind
All
of
right.
see what.
Okay, I will open public hearing for property located at 716 Laramie Street at 518. All right, do we have individuals here? Please step forward and state your name and where you live.
Yeah, I'm Robert Tooley. I live in DeSoto, Kansas, my wife and I. And originally, when we purchased this property, we were planning on moving into it after we got it fixed up. We were wanting to live in this community. And due to some, well, right after we were involved in some a court deal with the previous owners for a little while with it. And once all that was finally resolved, and we were in one of those, did anybody walk away from this kind of accidents on the highway? And it's taken me some time to recover from that. I'm just now back to where I can get around good and do things again on it. So I'd just like to ask for a little bit of time. We had a contract on it to sell it to, that's the realization I came to. Some of this work I can no longer do myself. So we were gonna sell it. And we had a contract on it with an investor, but it fell through because when I realized that there was a issue with it with the city, they said they didn't want to get in any kind of battle with the city over it. So that's where we're at right now. If we could just have some time, that's the plan, is to sell it to an investor to where they can fix it up and get it back to what the house could be. It's got good bones. We just weren't able to do what we were planning on to it because of because of my heart issues due to what happened in the car wreck.
Okay. All right. Anyone else here to speak on behalf?
My name is Felicia Tulane. I live at 32650 Lexington Avenue, DeSoto, Kansas. Sorry, I'm really emotional because I thought this was going to be our house that we lived in.
That's okay.
Then we had high dreams for this house, and to see it in this condition, it just kills me. We come out and we check on it every so often. We had hired someone to mow the lawn, and then they moved. And then so I've really been struggling with my husband over telling him that we can no longer do this. We can't do it, and we need to do something with it. And I think I just got him convinced in the last 5 months that we would sell it. So then we started to go sell it, and then the last time when we had an investor come and look at it, the garage had fallen in. So we tried to get that secured, and the investor said that they'd still be interested in it depending if we got more time today. So I would like to have more time. I didn't like to leave my house like this. I love this community. Look at all the great things it did this afternoon before we came. I mean, wrestling, those are my kids', that's what my kids do. So I really thought this is where we were going to live at. I didn't know I was going to have to go back and live at my mom's house at 48 years old.
Yeah.
So I feel bad that had happened. And so we're just trying to move on. And it's a beautiful house. I wish that hopefully we can sell it and somebody can get in there and do something with it that we wanted to do.
Okay.
Thank you.
When did you take ownership of it?
I want to say, 2021 is when we bought it in auction, but we had to wait a whole year. We didn't know that we had to wait a whole year because that family can come back and come back on us, and they did. They gave us a court order that said that they were going to sue us, but then when we showed up to court, they didn't show up. But then I was like, okay, so then they said it's dismissed, but then they filed another motion. And then when we went to that one, it was dismissed. So then we weren't even sure that we even owned it there for a while. But last year we confirmed that we owned it because he was going to try to come out and get a loan on it to see if we can start getting it fixed up then. And because of us being in the car wreck and stuff, our credit had gone down, and the money that we had saved to do this house, we've had to live off of. That was not the plan at all. So we would like to get it sold and get the taxes and everything fixed back up on it. And I'm sorry. I mean, this is a lovely community, and we wanted to be a part of it, and it's just not going to happen. Okay. Thank you for listening.
Okay.
How much are the taxes, do you know?
I don't even know. I want to say around 12,000 maybe.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Total?
All right. 12,000 total. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Anyone else wishing? Otherwise, we will close the hearing at 5:22. Okay. Hearing closed. Okay. Curtis?
Okay, so with that information, I think I can sympathize with the situation. However, I think I'm still going to ask for a 30-day. They still will have time to sell. We can still work with them. The main reason, though, because the goal is to not out to just rush to tear it down. That's not why we're here. However, because of the time that's gone by, there's a lot of opportunity for things have been done. They've been dealing with a lot of stuff, it sounds like, that just didn't help. However, the community's been having to deal with this house in the meantime. The neighborhood's been having to, and not because they were trying to create a problem, but it ultimately was and is a problem. So I think it's fair to stick with the 30-day. Or I'm going to request the 30-day. I can still work with them to try to sell. If they're serious about selling it, they can get with a realtor, they can get with whoever, not just my owner, and with this endless, like with no ceiling. So if they can make that effort, I can always go out 45 days if I need to, or 50 days.
Well, that was going to be my question.
Yeah, but to just keep putting it out that far, because then it's 60 days. If it's not done, then what, 90? So at 30, it still holds them accountable, but yet, and only because there's been so much time that's gone by.
And I just would remind everyone that, in the last round of properties that we looked at, there was one that we said that the owner came in and said, we're trying to sell it, and this order did not prevent them from selling it. It actually helped them sell it. And then the new owner knew that they needed to come in and talk with us about their plans. So it was able to give the homeowner and the potential purchaser a clear vision of what our expectations are, while also ensuring that the rest of the community is protected and supported if that all goes sideways and it's unable to actually sell for some reason.
Well, as you said, Curtis, I'm sympathetic to the neighbors too.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're looking at a house where the water's been turned off for 12 years.
Correct.
So,
Yeah, I mean, we can all appreciate,
I
we can
hope
all
that
appreciate
something
old
can
housing
happen
stock.
for these
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. And like I said, we can work with them as much as possible, but I think still, in my mind, keeping that 30 days
So
is
just
in the
'cause I
best
don't know,
interest.
what is their option? Just walk away from it and say you can have it? Is that, so they don't have to deal with it?
They can do that.
I mean, yeah, it's the.
Well, anybody, yeah, there's always that option.
That would
which-
be, I mean, I'm just saying that that's the situation with a handful, the other properties where we haven't heard from anyone or no one came tonight. That's the situation with
yeah.
those.
Yeah.
So we just,
And what happened to that?
so then we demolish the house and we put an assessment on it, and a property like this would likely go back to the tax sale then with the delinquent taxes and the assessment
And
on
there's
it.
no financial burden for them?
I don't know how.
It gets,
if
it gets
there's-
assessed to the property.
It gets assessed to the property, so I don't.
So no,
That's the trouble, we spend $5,000-6,000 destroying it, and then it's gonna go to the tax sale. But what we need to do is get the tax sale before it's destroyed.
Why?
Because if you took the back off this shed that somebody's put on this house, it's not in here, but the other pictures we got before. This house is a sound house, but the shed that's on the back end of it is just a total disaster, as you can see in these pictures. Now, if this thing went to the tax sale, there'd be people that would be interested in this house. When you add all these taxes up and you get to $15,000 or something like that on taxes, that changes the thing. The thing will be tore down. We have another $5,000 against it, and it just doesn't work at all.
I just want to be clear, though, Commissioner Slattery, that any assessment or taxes owed you don't have to pay that when you buy a property on the tax sale. We only
Not on the
collect.
tax sale, that's correct. That's
We
what
only
I'm saying.
collect whatever it sells for, our share of whatever it sells for. So
Yeah.
there is a world where they owe a certain amount of money for this already on delinquent taxes.
But if
We put in 5,000 for demolition or whatever it happens to be. The total on the property is now $17,000, and it sells at the tax sale for 10.
5.
They've been selling for more than 5, but say it sells for 10, then we receive our percentage owed of that 10. We aren't made completely whole as a city, but the investor themselves are not on the hook for any more than the 10 that they purchased it for. So it actually it increases the likelihood that the property will be purchased and
If it goes to a tax.
at the tax sale. Yes,
Yes,
but
that
if
makes
that
sense.
goes to the tax sale after demolition.
I don't know if this matters to you, but it looks to me like there's more assessments for like weed abatements than there are actual back taxes. The taxes annually last year is $400 for the year. For the year,
Taxes due on this one, does it show there?
I'm showing like 92 to 9,500 outstanding, but that's more abatements.
Mowing and abatement.
than
Mostly
taxes.
abatements.
Yeah, because it's the taxes are delinquent from
If somebody
21,
buys that
21.
house, they have to pay that 9,500.
No.
No,
Yes,
he's
they
telling,
do.
he's listen to
Oh,
the
if they
man.
buy it not at the tax sale.
Outside,
Yeah, if they buy it now.
Listen to it.
If they buy it,
I don't understand why people don't get this.
if they buy it not at the tax sale, you're saying?
Right, you
Yes,
have to
correct.
pay that 9,500, that doesn't leave anything left. The house is probably worth $4,000 or $5,000 the way it is, in my opinion. Now, if you send it to the tax sale, the county can recoup some of their, or the city can recoup some of their mowing expenses, hopefully, and somebody will buy it for $5,000 or $6,000. One of them sold for 10 up here on Division the last time. No, that's, I
Don't
don't
taxes
understand why we don't wait on this and sell it at the tax
prioritize
sale.
over.
But they can't,
abatements.
if somebody
Yeah,
wants to
I
pay
mean, we need
$9,500 for it and then give them $150 for their share of it, that's about all that's left.
And I don't know if this is the
Curtis,
place to bring this
yeah.
up either.
Huh?
I don't know if this is the place to bring this up, but an owner would also have you got to be careful because I don't want anybody to ever feel forced. Like they always have the option, but we do have a land bank, and I suppose if they're really wanting to get rid of it, they could request or could ask the land bank if they're if our land bank's interested in taking it on, at which point we'd have the ability to then try to get it in the hands of somebody without it going to the tax sale. We just don't always have that luxury because a lot of times we don't have
What
owners.
happens to the $9,500 that's owed on it?
Technically, it
The buyer
washes
doesn't have to
away,
pay
it
that
washes
unless
away,
it goes to a tax sale.
but it washes away if the land bank buys it because we're a tax exempt entity.
What about the
Really?
other assets?
Yeah. The taxes are gone. So that is an option too. If the land bank would agree to
Yes,
take
it's a
it.
big if, and I only say it
What about the other?
because it's an
assets?
option, but I don't.
They're gone too. It'd be the city paying the city. It's
No, it's
So
it's
that doesn't
donation.
become
It'd be a donation.
not-
Okay, I see.
The other assessments that have been levied against it for mowing and whatnot, does that disappear as well?
Really?
No, I've heard just,
Yeah, it's
I've
ultimately
heard just the opposite.
Right, yeah.
That if there's mowing,
correct, but it's if the city land bank owns it, and the assessment is owed to the city,
They can void,
the city would likely void that because at that point we're doing work on the property to try to get it into a state where it can be sold.
So the land bank can take possession of this any way they want to?
No. The land bank can purchase it from the private owner if the private owner wants to. They can also donate it for nothing. But the land bank would have to approve it,
Right.
and the land bank is not currently in session.
No.
But I would say that if the property owners wanted to pursue an option like that, placing a demolition order on it with a deadline does not preclude them from doing that. If anything, it would maybe leave that as a fallback option if they are unable to get it sold to a private purchaser. Then they could theoretically give
Well,
it.
I'd like to give them their 30 days.
Sure.
But for them to know what their options are.
Sure.
Because I don't think, if they choose to sink a lot of money into that house, good for them. But I don't want them sinking money into this house that they might not have or want to spend on it, just to get out of underneath it. You know?
They can walk away from it. Or find somebody that wants to pay $9,500 plus something.
Well,
There are options. They can sell. They could donate.
But what I'm saying is that a demolition order does not preclude any of those options. In fact, in a lot of ways, it makes it clearer to any potential purchaser as well as the sellers what the timeline looks like and what kind of the fallback options are if things don't move forward one way or the other. So, and as Curtis said, we continue to work with property owners even if there is a demolition order on the property. And as long as they are willing to work with us and communicate with us, then we will continue to work with them on that process.
Okay, and it appeared that you all were communicating back and forth just a few minutes ago.
Just trying to
okay.
keep them.
Okay.
Trying to keep them well where they know that this isn't.
Okay.
As you guys are talking about the land bank, we're again in no way, shape, or form are they obligated to have to do anything into the land bank.
Okay.
It's just an option that they could have if the land
You
bank's
know, is the
willing to.
roof leaking on that house at this point? The main house, is it leaking, you know?
There's a spot where the chimney comes out, right on top of it, it's got a hole in it, that spot's leaking. And then
That's
this
that
picture
shed
here-
that's on the
this picture
side.
here is the garage.
Yeah, that all.
No, that's a rear addition.
Oh, that's the addition,
That's
right,
the rear
okay.
addition.
Right. Yeah. But the main part of the house, the only spot where, I know the roof, it definitely needs a new roof, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But the.
Because you can see right there in the kitchen.
on the public hearing or?
The
No,
main
right.
place where it's leaking is,
Move forward.
around that chimney,
with the-
Motion here in a second.
which,
I think where that's where some of that water. Probably.
right.
Okay.
Okay. All right, I think with all conversations exhausted, I think we're ready to move to a motion.
I would move that we accept Resolution 3449.
All right, it's been moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 3449, a resolution as to why the structure located at 716 Laramie Street should be condemned and ordered repaired or demolished. If there are no further questions, all those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign.
Aye.
All right, 4, and 1 voting in the negative. Motion carries. All right, we are clear. Thank you for speaking. Appreciate that. All right, yes. You can still
Correct.
sell it. That is correct.
Correct. Just stay in contact with Curtis, too. Yep.
We can talk after the meeting.
Okay. All right, next, property located at 945 Parallel Street.
Yes, resolution number 3450. The owner, he came to the meeting tonight. Ramiro, he's here, so we'll have him come up in a minute. This is a house him and I have been speaking over the years, just trying to coordinate getting this house done right on the corner of 10th and Parallel, so real visible, and it just continues to deteriorate. And he's rehabbed some other homes in town, hadn't made it to this one. I think he'd had some intention to try, and I think just trying to shuffle money and just do all the things and life. Here we are today, and it was just at a point, because I keep getting complaints on it. Sending housing letters just doesn't go anywhere. So with the value estimated at $15,400, I mean it needs quite a bit, and I haven't even been inside of it. So and this is another situation where taxes are owed on 4.5 years. So that's why we're here. But I'd like him to be able to come up and speak a little more with his
Absolutely.
regarding his attention.
So at this time, we will open public hearing for Resolution 3450, 945 Parallel Street, and it is currently 5:37. And yes, sir, if you'd please state your name and address for the record.
For the record, I was praying that I wasn't going to go first when the room was full. So yeah, I've been communicating with Curtis for a while. And not just an intention, but I'll just give you like a brief timeline of what I've been trying to do. And my limitation is that I'm a truck driver, over-the-road truck driver. So I come home. I live here in Atchison. Ramiro Rodriguez, by the way.
Thank you.
I live here in Atchison, so I come home about every couple of months or so. But last September, I met with both an agent and a contractor local here to Atchison. I'm not going to give you his name because he stopped communicating with me for whatever reason. I don't know why. But I've had two contractors look at that house. Not the intention, but the plan is to actually either rehab it and sell it, or demolish it and put a new house and sell it. So as Curtis said, I've had a few properties here in town. Originally, I came from Colorado Springs. I bought properties here, fixed them up. I had some rentals. I had an Airbnb. This particular property, we always used it as storage as we were working on other houses in town. And again, the plan was always to rehab it and sell it. But when all this happened, or when I was buying properties here, that was in the fall of 2019. And then, as you all know, 2020, we got COVID. I had trouble finding people that could work, so that kind of slowed things down a lot for me. I had to go out, find jobs and whatnot. Anyway, so right now I've had two contractors look at the house. One of them told me that it's best to demo and rebuild. The other one said that, the local one said that it could be rehabbed. I mean, it's going to need a major work, and we talked about just tearing it down to the studs. The roof will all have to be redone. As you can see from the photos, there is water damage. But again, that's has always been the plan, is to rehab it. And again, my limitation is that I'm here very little now. I'm here for the next 2, potentially to 3 weeks. And the reason is to get this sorted out. So I want to meet with contractors. So for example, I've talked to Alan Kane from AIM, because he's doing a HVAC unit for one of my houses here. I've talked to Brad at the bank, Brad Campbell, at Bank of Atchison. He's the one that has my mortgages for the properties here. So I'm using him as a resource to get other contractors. I've reached out to BRT Construction here in town. I've reached out to Atchison Construction, but recently I learned that they're no longer in business. So again, there are some steps in place to get this rehabbed, demoed, and a new house put in place. And again, I'm here in town for the next 2-3 weeks to try and get this sorted out. And what I can tell you is that I'll be in communication with Curtis as to what the progress of those activities are. But again, that's the plan. And I've been trying to get this plan off and running since September of last year. But the last communication that I had with the local contractor was right after Christmas. I want to say 28th of December. That's when I sent him. I had been by this time calling him like twice a week, calling, texting, and just out of the blue, he stopped responding completely. So again, I know he's well known in the community. I know I'm just assuming that he's really busy and my project is small. I don't understand why he wouldn't get back to me, but that's where that's at.
Okay, I see.
When did you take ownership of this home?
2019, late 2019, I want to say October-ish timeframe, 2019.
Okay. Curtis, I have a question regarding the repaired. So if Mr. Rodriguez is able to get with contractors, et cetera, would anything in the demolition or repaired resolution preclude him or prohibit him from continuing to work on this house?
No.
Okay. Okay.
30 days. Kind of, again, just the time frame.
Okay.
But it also, it keeps it the forefront, making sure it is the priority.
Can you give me the address of a couple of the other homes that you have?
Yeah, so 625 Atchison is one of the ones that we worked on pretty quickly. 1303 Commercial, right across from the pool, that I recently sold. 1422 Kansas.
Okay, thank you.
So like all of these houses, the 4 houses that I mentioned, so 945, 625 Atchison, 1422 Kansas, and 1303, all of those houses were purchased because I was trying to invest in properties with the plan. Again, at the time I was in Colorado with the plan of moving here. I have since moved here. I moved here in 2021. But in the fall of 2019, I bought those 4 properties, again, with the intention of rehabbing, selling, and then just coming to live here and continuing that work.
Can I ask why you didn't pay the taxes? Keep the taxes current.
Yes, and the reason for that is that's totally on me. All of my properties have been on mortgages, so that was on automatic payment. This one, because I paid cash for it, I was always paying taxes myself. And after I lost my job and other things happened in life, I just kind of lost track of that.
I don't get to lose track of it.
Let's close the
Okay.
public hearing and then
Okay.
you guys can make your
Okay.
comments.
Anything else that you would like to say? Anyone else? Okay. If not, we're going to close the public hearing at 5:44. Okay. All right. Thank you. Any other concerns, questions, Curtis? You're asking for the,
I think with him in town for 3 weeks, that's great. So that kind of falls in line with the 30 days, gives him plenty of time to get a hold of a contractor, do all the stuff. And if he can get all that information, then man, we can definitely Because I mean, if it's something he ends up tearing it down on his own, that's fine too. I mean, that's, yeah, would prefer that, actually, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the order says repaired or demolished.
Repair or
so
demolish, so.
If he's,
Okay.
you know, if
So it
he
gives him that
presents a
option.
plan to repair it and shows that he's got a contractor and everything, then that counts as well.
Okay.
So does he live in Atchison now? Is that right? I'm sorry, I didn't.
He
Yes.
does-
Yes.
So the 30
All right.
days is kind of a benchmark, but it's not something we're holding us to the letter. I mean,
It gives us the opportunity for if there's no property owner involved, if the property owner involved, as I don't think will happen here, suddenly just stops communicating with us about it or whatever situation, but it gives us the opportunity to move forward with what needs to happen for the property if that process that's currently happening continues without any progress moving forward.
but, and maybe I'm trying to get too technical, but if he does a bunch of work, he has this 30-day time frame that he has to.
It's to stay in contact with
Okay,
city
but
staff.
So it
about
isn't like in 30 days, if you're not done, I just.
You don't have to have the work done in 30 days. You
Okay,
have,
he can come back with a plan.
he needs,
Yeah.
as happened with the, just as a note, you know,
Okay,
in the
do
last,
we do that in-house or do we do it through commission?
yeah.
Yeah.
Huh? We've done that before, where they come in with a plan. Right. For 30 or 60 or 90. But we can do that
Okay.
administratively, we don't have to necessarily do it through a hearing or a vote of the commission.
Yeah, but the point being that if they're in communication with Curtis, the 30 days, if that doesn't line up with a city commission meeting, yes, we give them the flexibility.
Okay.
As long as they're in
You're not
communication
gonna
and
get
making
this house
progress.
rehabbed in 30 days.
Right,
No.
yeah, so
It's gonna take a lot more than that.
And we won't be out there with a bulldozer in I mean, day
Yeah, that's
day
another thing. We're
31,
not
it would
there
start
on
the
day
bid
31
process.
to tear it down.
You're gonna get time if you're showing you're doing something.
Right.
But if I have emailed the owner multiple times,
Yes.
so I'm not sold on that he's gonna respond. Okay?
Well, and that's where.
That's gotta be proven yet.
Yeah, correct. That's where in the next 3 weeks, he's got a big job to
So
get things.
I
like
hope he
that.
does it, you know?
Yeah, same.
But I,
It's a corner lot on a couple major streets here in town, so
Yeah, it really sets well.
10th and
Yeah.
10th and Parallel.
big lots.
Okay, so at this point, if we are satisfied with our questions, I would entertain a motion to accept,
Adopt resolution.
okay, for the resolution. Okay, do we have someone who is willing to move? To accept to adopt the resolution? Should be 3450. 34.
I'd move to accept resolution number 3450.
Okay, it's been moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we adopt a Resolution 3450, a resolution as to why the structure located at 945 Parallel Street should be condemned and ordered repaired or demolished. If there are no further questions, all those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay. Thank you. Next, we have property located at 1215 Pacific Street, and that is resolution number 3451. Mr. Wheeler?
Yes, so last one of the evening, 1215 Pacific, it's owned by Fortune Global Monopoly LLC, and out of, I think, Brooklyn, New York. I've spoken to the owner of this multiple times. We've sent housing letters. It was also a tax sale purchase, probably around the same time that Mr. and Mrs. Tooley had bought the ones that they did. Water's been off since '22. Again, taxes haven't been paid since '22. And again, have reached out, have tried to, started with housing letters, with just trying to get something repaired on it, get rid of it, let somebody else fix it. You know, what can we do to work something out? And, you know, the response is always, yeah, we want to fix it. Yeah, we want to fix it. Yeah, we want to fix it. And then here we are. And this one probably does have a pretty good chance of getting repaired, but man, you're getting holes in the roofs, there's water infiltration, and it's only valued at $5,770, so
You know how much
it's
the
gonna take
taxes
longer.
are on this one?
No.
Pull it up there, Justin, you pull it up.
Okay, and while Justin is pulling that up, let's go ahead and get started with this hearing. We will open the public hearing for resolution number 3451 at 5:50. Is there anyone here that is speaking for or against this resolution? Okay, if not, we will close the public hearing at 5:50 also. Okay, public hearing is closed. Justin, were you successful in finding information?
Has not paid anything since 22.
Yeah.
Okay,
I would guess the total would be it's relatively.
What's the annual on it?
I would say the similar lead notice exceed the tax value.
okay,
And we've obviously we've also had to go in and board up some windows and things through the years
$170
for taxes.
Well, that is valued.
This last year, there were 4 mowing bills. That number.
okay, okay.
So it costs more to mow the yard.
What is- Okay, okay. All right, any other questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
Also,
Okay, is there a second? All right, it's been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 3451, a resolution as to why the structure located at 1215 Pacific Street should be condemned and ordered repaired or demolished. If there are no further questions, all those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign.
I'm going to abstain
Okay,
because this house is located 2 doors from me.
okay, okay.
I just want to have said that.
Okay, very good. So we have 4 commissioners voting for, Vice Mayor has abstained. Motion carries. All
Thank you,
right.
Curtis.
Thank you, Curtis. Thank you very much. Okay, at this time, Mr. Westhoff, Resolution 3445, prescribing the form and details of and authorizing and directing the sale and delivery of general obligation bonds.
Sorry, I'm just taking a breath.
Yes.
A long start to the meeting.
Yes.
Okay, so a little background. There's a bit of a saga here. As you know, every 3 years, the city plans a street improvement project of a larger scale to be financed with general obligation bonds. This has been the standard for the city back to at least 2014, I think even further back than that. It's been a successful program for repairing streets, but it also sometimes we fall behind every 3 years on projects. In the past, those projects were around $1 million. A few years ago, the most recent one, we went up to 1.4 based on increased costs, and this year we were discussing and moving forward with a $1.8 million general obligation bond to include even more projects throughout the city. At the February 17th City Commission meeting, you all approved Resolution 3441, which designated the project scope for this year's bonds, as well as 3442, authorizing the sale of GO bonds today, April 6th, 2026. In the interim, city staff continued working with our financial advisor, Stiefel, and our bond counsel, Gilmore and Bell, to prepare for that bond sale today. We received an excellent A1 credit rating with Moody's in that process. That credit rating reflected that the city has a stable financial profile, so kudos to you all as part of the budgeting and financial side of the city. However, in the interim, the Kansas legislature passed Senate sub for House Bill 2745. As of the start of this meeting, I double-checked, and this bill has not yet been either signed into law or vetoed by the governor, so it is sitting on her desk currently. This bill is intended to cap property tax revenue for taxing entities like cities and counties, increases at 3% per year. However, this bill does not exempt tax or bonds from that revenue threshold that it sets. If this bill becomes law, it is the opinion of Moody's and our financial advisor that it will lead to all Kansas general obligation bonds being no longer considered general obligation bonds. They will now be considered limited obligation bonds. The impact of that is general obligation bonds, cities and counties get much better interest rates than the market because it basically states, we will make sure this gets paid off no matter what. We have a general duty to pay this and we will be able to do so. Limited obligation bonds, cities and counties do not get that prime interest rate because it's saying, hey, we've placed some kind of limit on this bond. There can be lots of examples of what that limit is. In this case, the opinion of the organizations like Moody's and Stifel is that this makes all bonds in the state of Kansas limited obligation bonds, which means that general obligation bonds, where we receive that higher or that higher credit rating, lower interest rate, would no longer be possible. Because of that, the bond market in the state of Kansas is completely frozen at this moment. I know of at least 12 bond issues across the state that are on hold, in part just based on the uncertainty, because that bill is out there but not signed or vetoed yet. Investors don't like uncertainty. So the advice from financial advisors throughout the state in speaking with those typical bond purchasers was take a breath, find out if this becomes law, and then if it does, we'll probably have to get a new credit rating from Moody's and then move forward with the bond sale later. If it doesn't, then we can move forward with the bond sale right away. That is maybe a little complicated. There's more complications with that law, that if it becomes a law, we will be discussing that in these chambers in the future. It impacts other things like our growth incentives that we offer to businesses and residents, because it also does not exempt those from this 3% threshold. So there are more complications that we'll have to discuss if it is signed into law. Just as a note, city staff, we've talked about that we're not necessarily concerned with the 3% threshold. We're concerned about potentially these other kind of cascading effects of that law.
Mr. Westphal?
Yes, please.
So, okay. You said that currently the bill is still on the governor's desk.
As far as I know.
Okay, how much longer does the governor have to sign
I
or
believe
veto?
until April 9th
Okay.
was the date that I saw, at which point I think if she does nothing, it becomes law through her not acting.
Okay.
So there is a veto session of the legislature that I believe will call the session on the 9th as well. So that lines up. If she does veto it, there is an opportunity for the legislature to override that veto based on the votes in the original round. It's unlikely, but not impossible. I believe it passed with 3 votes in the Senate and 4 in the House. So that's pretty tight. You need a supermajority to override a veto. So we're following it closely. We're very grateful to the League of Kansas Municipalities, who's been giving us consistent updates on this and other bills, but especially this one, as it clearly impacts all cities and counties in the state. So, yeah, any other questions?
If this bill that they're dealing with now wasn't there,
yeah,
what would the interest rate be, do you think? That we would be, and then what would it be if we were to do it?
Sure.
Without?
So it's a bit of a guess, right? Because that's ultimately what the bid would have been at the sale today, is the interest rates from the bond purchasers. The projection based on our credit rating and the current market was around 3% for the interest rate that we would have received. And again, where we end up is also a bit of a question. It depends a little bit on how those credit institutions interpret that this impacts us. If our credit rating were to drop from A1 to a lower actual rating, it could materially impact our interest rate up over 3.5% potentially. It's a little unknown, right? Ultimately, that's a bid that would be placed by the bond purchasers in the state, and they use information like our credit ratings and whether it's general or limited obligation to make those bids. Moody's has given the opinion that this would impact our credit rating. How much is ultimately, their call and their determination. But
We need a resolution here to repeal that 3442 and adopt
So,
3445.
so yeah, the resolution that we prepared today with bond counsel is 3445, which would repeal that previous resolution that told us to go to sale today. Obviously, that is not going to happen today. It would also give staff the authority to go ahead and put that up for sale once we get some clarity one way or the other. Again, we're delaying. We were ready to go out for bid on these summer paving projects as early as next week, potentially. But now we have to put that on hold. And so we want to move it forward as soon as we get clarity, move that forward. So the resolution basically says if it does not get signed, you give staff authority to go out for bid on the bond sale right away and get it moving forward. If it does get signed into law, but it does not increase our interest rate over 3.75%, that we can also go out and go forward with the bond sale at that new interest rate. And if it's over 3.75%, we would have to come back to the city commission.
Okay. All right.
So that's resolution 3445.
Okay, and Mark, you said that if the bill is allowed to go into effect, or if the governor does sign it, the likelihood of our credit rating being lowered due to this bill is likely?
So Moody's, I think they've been, they're still figuring out what this might mean, but they've basically said that if you go from a general obligation bond to a limited obligation bond, it will impact your credit rating and your interest rate. So how much it impacts it is unknown. I will give a little information, and it's out. It's in your packet, the credit rating that we received from Moody's. All of the kind of financial stability numbers for the city were all even better than our credit rating. So we're AA or AAA on all of those things. Our accounting, our audit, everything was very highly rated. We dropped just barely into A1 based on the census numbers for the city as a whole and the average income level for city residents. So I would even say it based on their explanation to us, it feels like we're kind of at the top end of A1. So where in that threshold we might fall if the credit rating drops, we may still be A1, but it's a little hard to predict.
Okay.
So it's in our best interest to be patient right now.
Right now, be patient. I think we'll have clarity by the end of this week, but we would just basically like to be able to move forward with the bond sale once we get clarity, and that's the request.
Okay. All right.
Do we need to move to
Just adopt
3442 before we can adopt
No.
3445?
in the language of 3445 in front of you. It repeals 3442.
Then I move that we adopt resolution 3445.
Okay, it's been moved. Is there a second? All right, it's been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 3445, authorizing the offering for sale of general obligation bonds, Series 2026-A of the City of Atchison, Kansas, and repealing Resolution Number 3442. If there are no further questions or concerns, this is a roll call vote. Tina, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Slattery,
Yes.
Mayor Young,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wilcox.
Yes.
Commissioner Greenlee,
Yes.
Commissioner Murphy.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next, Mr. Westhoff, the Neighborhood Revitalization Program.
So this is one of those rebate programs that could be impacted by that law, just as a note. We're kind of keeping an eye on that. We've talked about this multiple times at multiple meetings. We've had the public hearing. on March 16th that was attended by city residents who voiced their opinions one way or the other. Ultimately, this is a program that the city has had in place for many years, the current iteration essentially since 2016, that provides incentives to people who are investing in the community. A certain time period of rebate on the property taxes based on their improvement that they complete. So if somebody wants to complete an improvement in the city, they still pay taxes on the base of that property. They don't pay taxes on a portion of the improved value for a certain period of time, and then it comes onto the tax rolls. The county commissioners notified us on September 2nd of 2025 that they would like to, the resolution said they would like to step away from the current interlocal agreement. In reaching out to them, they said, no, we just want to renegotiate. So we started that process back in September. We had multiple meetings. You all were part of it in October, November, and December. And ultimately, you all have expressed, city staff has expressed, that we are pleased with the current NRP plan, that we think it incentivizes projects and growth within the city of Atchison. However, we were comparing a situation where the county no longer participates in that plan versus any proposal that was placed in front of us for an amended plan. Ultimately, I think that we came to an agreement for an amended NRP that still will incentivize most of the current projects that we've seen under the current NRP. We will be the first to tell you that we think there are some projects that would be feasible under the current NRP that are not feasible under this proposed NRP. However, again, looking at all of the projects, most of them would still be able to be feasible under this proposal. Again, we had the public hearing on March 16th. You all were there. The feedback from those who spoke was ultimately kind of to say, keep the current program until it sunsets in 3 years and then renegotiate, or 2 years at this point. All of the taxing entities who were there ultimately said, if the county would like to move forward with this proposal, then that's better than if they step out completely from the current plan. So that's where we're at today. In front of you now is Resolution 3444, which would approve the amended neighborhood revitalization plan, as well as the interlocal agreement stating that this would be in place for 4 years and would end April 30th, 2030. So the effective dates of the new NRP would be May 1st, 2026 through April 30th, 2030. Go ahead.
So the current status is it was going to end in 2 years.
In 2028.
In 2028, anyway.
Yes.
That was going to have to be
renegotiated at that time.
Renegotiated, exactly. And we basically have renegotiated and added 2 more years.
We haven't added 2 more years.
Well, yeah, the new plan extends to 2030.
It'll still be looked at in 20.
No, 2030 now.
2030.
Oh, it is
years.
Yes, it would.
That's,
Yeah.
And
Although, as we saw in this situation, maybe not all of the taxing entities involved could push for renegotiation at any point, but I would say that the largest 3 taxing entities involved in this plan could probably push for a renegotiation if they wanted to at any point, by basically saying we won't take part anymore. But that's ultimately the bottom line, right, is that we're all part of this interlocal agreement unless someone decides they want to step out. And in which case, we can either say, that's fine, you can step out, we'll move forward with the plan without you, or can we renegotiate in some way that will make you continue to participate in this going forward to the benefit of the city, the county, and anyone wanting to do, improvements in our community.
Are we the only entity so far that has not voted on this?
I don't remember all of the dates. I think we are one of the last. The county, I believe, has already approved this. I don't remember if the school district, if 409 had met yet, but multiple of the other smaller cities and USD 377 had all stated that they were planning to approve it at their next meeting, which some were towards the end of March, some were here in April, but they were all before April 30th. So I think we're probably right in the middle right now.
And this would take place if this were to pass, and with everybody else passing it, it would start then on May 1?
May 1st, correct.
Okay. Again, I think I've said this before, while we've had to make some concessions, I think bottom line is we have successfully collaborated with all of the entities, and I appreciate all of the collaboration and the work. And so certainly appreciate your hard work on this, Mark, and others. And I think this is something that we should do. It's certainly proven to help. So does anyone else have any questions, concerns?
We need a motion on this?
We absolutely do. So would you like to?
I would, but I don't have the number.
Oh, it's
It's on-
resolution number 3444.
So it's to approve the proposed neighborhood revitalization plan, adopt resolution 3444, and authorize the mayor to execute the interlocal agreement.
I would move we adopt resolution 3444.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution number 3444, a resolution authorizing the city to enter into an interlocal agreement for participation in the Neighborhood Revitalization Program and approving the Neighborhood Revitalization Plan and authorize the mayor to execute the interlocal agreement. If there are no other comments or concerns, all those in favor, please state by saying, yep.
You didn't give me a chance.
Oh, I thought you did. Commissioner Murphy, go ahead.
I understand and I appreciate the work that you've gone through for the city and for the taxpayers, the investors and everything. But I do think this is a horrible, horrible mistake that we're making because we have another entity dictating to us how to operate. And I've agreed with just about everybody that the way it is now is the best. And for us to willingly change means we're basically for taxing the people more. And I just think it's a terrible business mistake because the people that have invested in our community over the last 30 years made a big, big difference, and I just think that we're making a mistake.
I appreciate that.
But I appreciate your work.
I understand. I would just add that the comparison that we were doing was, like I said, ultimately looking at a situation where the city and the school district are the only surviving entities under the current NRP, which would have been more harmful to future investors and future projects than this proposal. So that's ultimately where we got to. But I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If hypothetically, I don't think it happened, but if we were to say we're not accepting what we're proposing ourselves, what would become of the program then? Would it just disappear? I mean,
No.
If we voted on maintaining the status quo.
Right. So the current program, understanding that there is a motion and second on the table, I'll answer the questions. The current program, you either need to provide a 90-day notice that you're opting out, or If everyone's opting out, then it just ends. Individual entities are able to offer different incentive programs than the group as a whole. That creates confusion, I would say, for potential investors, as well as, I will provide this feedback, they are not my staff, but I do tend to support the work of municipal and governmental staff. A huge amount of work for the county staff who are administering the program. They would have to keep track of different rebate programs for each property, where, you know, the county offers this rebate, the city offers this rebate, maybe the school district offer, you know. And so the first couple years, those might all align, and then they start differing. I think that it would create a world where the investors are not sure each year what percentage of a rebate they're getting, and then the staff are having to fight through those details each time with each individual property. And you've seen the list that there are hundreds of properties that have used this to increase the overall value, which is then, you know, increasing the tax base. Justin?
So this is one of those times where being a consultant helps me be a little bit direct. My advice to somebody who thought we're making a mistake by reducing these would be to accept the proposal on the table and advocate for either reversing or increasing or you see what I mean?
Yes.
The fracture that it would create would be very confusing and difficult to administer. And I would, you know, so I'm in the same boat as you, right? Like I think I was one of the primary driving forces in 2016 for advancing the rebates. That being said, I do think there are some valid points that were made critiquing that program and given the amount of development that's gone on anyway. So my perspective would be not to, you know, be against what's on the table, but that there would be a lot of opportunity in the future to advocate for something that could still advance that or make that different in the future.
We're going this direction. In 2 years or 3 years, we can go back. If we could.
You could. Yeah. And there's so much nuance in this in terms of like application size and project type and minimum permit, and there's a lot of nuance there. So I would, you know, to be totally fair, because I know some people watch these meetings, to be totally fair, I do think that we are seeing enough single-family for-sale housing development that perhaps the rebate program we're going away from was a bit lucrative.
Was successful, really. That's the point,
very
right?
Successful.
Yeah.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you could legitimately, that's a legitimate perspective.
Sure.
But there would have been ways to tweak. One of my biggest concern about this going forward is small commercial projects, because the tax assessment rate is very high.
Sure.
And so it just there's not enough there to make any especially small renovations, because the labor on those is subject to sales tax. So I'm concerned about small commercial in this. If somebody wants to come build a big apartment building, they can get IRBs or an RHID or something. They have some avenues for them. So the single biggest thing I'm concerned about with this is small commercial.
Yep. And I'd agree with that. And just as a reminder, you know, there were multiple proposals sent to the city that we basically just said this doesn't work. And a lot of those included some kind of cap, which basically ruled out all commercial projects. So again, it's the culmination of a long saga and a lot of negotiations. I would agree with Justin that I think that if the city, and obviously if you all would like to give me direction to continue pushing for that, I'm happy to do so. I would recommend approving the current proposal and then discussing that, you know, where we want to go moving forward after. That's my current recommendation. And there is a motion second on the table.
There is. So
Just so we all
anything
know.
further? Any further discussion?
No, anything I say, not change a thing.
Well, I
We
think,
can be sad together.
yeah, I think,
It's just when you see something work to the tune of, $160 million, and then we say, yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we all hear you, Commissioner, and agree. But at this point, I think the collaboration, being able to move forward together is of paramount importance. And if we have nothing further, we will call for a vote. So all those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. We had 4 voting for and Commissioner Murphy voting against. Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay. Next, we have Public Works 5-ton dump truck purchase authorization. Mr. McNamee?
All right. So the proposed truck tonight is an out-of-cycle purchase. It would replace a 2024 dump truck that was wrecked and totaled last year. The truck that was wrecked was a 2.5 ton, so it's got the single rear axle truck. They haul around 10 tons. That truck was ordered in 2022. It took us a while to get it. It was purchased for about $122,000 back then. In the few years since that truck was ordered, we've been gradually expanding our internal in-house paving operations. And as we're contemplating replacing that truck, we noted that we've been hiring contracted haulers, or hauler, or local hauler, more and more as we do more and more internal paving. And the 5-ton that's proposed hauls about twice as much. So instead of 10 tons, it's closer to 20 tons that we can get in a single trip. The other component of this that we will feel if we do not replace the truck would be snow removal in the wintertime. The upgrade to 5-ton doesn't really have much of an impact in terms of the gains for snow removal, other than the absence of any truck would be just one less truck that we'll have out on the streets plowing and treating roads. The insurance payment for the wrecked truck was $133,000. That went straight to the lease that we had with the bank, and the bids that we received for the replacement truck are just the cabin chassis and upfitting for things like the dump bed, the hydraulic connections for the snow equipment and things of that nature. It does include a snow plow mount, but the snow plow and salt spreader from the previous truck are still intact, and we plan to use those for this setup. Got 2 bids for the cabin chassis, 2 bids for the upfitting. The low bid combination, it would be an international truck from Rush Truck Center with upfitting from Crans of Kansas City. That totals $174,847.96. And then the highest combination cost would have been a Kenworth with another upfitter totaling $210,842. The proposal as written in the report would be another lease purchase. We estimate about $40,000. It'd be 5 years of payments, $40,000 a year. The other option that the commission could consider is that I think after city manager's got another business item later tonight that will propose using ARPA funding to at least help with the phone upgrades here at City Hall. And after that, there would be roughly $100,000 remaining in ARPA funding that we are on the hook to spend, or at least allocate. I'm not sure what the spend
out the door by the end of 2026.
Okay, so That is an option that we could put towards the cost of this, and then the remaining 74,000-ish would be still up for lease purchase payments. We would update the ERP during this upcoming budget season to capture the projected lease payments, whether they're 174,000 or 74,000, depending on how you want to utilize that ARPA money.
All right, anyone have any questions?
I think we ought to look at buying a used truck for this job. Have we looked into that at all? I wonder, what do they charge to haul asphalt from Leavenworth up here? Do you know how much a ton they get?
How much?
How much a ton do they charge you for hauling if you hire a truck? About $10.
I don't know that I've seen the unit costs of it. I feel like it's on a day of hauling, I think we can get up into the low thousands. So, I'm not exactly sure what that translates to per ton. I can find that out and let you know, but the used, I've looked at used trucks. Like I don't frequent used auction sites very often. When we go through our budget workshop year after year, the commission usually, there's a consensus among commission that our policy is to purchase new equipment. So we don't spend a lot of our staff time and resources trying to find used deals. But just for argument's sake, I checked out Purple Wave recently. They had 2 or 3 newer trucks of this size. They were Mack trucks, which are generally run a little more costly than internationals and things that we look for. But 2 2024 dump trucks, Mack trucks, were going for, they've sold in 2025 for being a year old, used, $190,000. So that kind of probably speaks more to the difference in the type of truck. But then it jumps to, I'll call it 15 to 20-year-old trucks. Looked at a lot of KDOT trucks. They were 200,000 miles, 10,000 hours, selling for about 15,000 average a piece. I know from when we sell our trucks after 15 years, it's not just because we hit 15 and we say, let's send them out the door. They're having problems. I remember before we got this last package of trucks, there was one particular day we were hauling asphalt, and I think we had 3 trucks go down on the highway. At least one of them was loaded down with a load of asphalt, and there's some costs associated with utilizing old equipment like that. You don't know what the maintenance was on them. You don't know what you're inheriting. You don't know necessarily how well the truck is supported by with parts availability at any given time. We've had trucks, our own trucks, not bought used, but they got old over time, and they were things like rust. You'd take them to the dealer. We've always had pretty good luck with dealers. Not when I say dealer, I should say repair places. We've always had pretty good luck and have good relationships with those folks that they'll give us a good try. But sometimes they've communicated with us in the past that these components are too deteriorated. They couldn't guarantee that they would be able to remove a part even without things breaking and going into more cost than what maybe is feasible. There's just a whole host of things when you're trying to keep up something that's quite that old. Something that's 5 years old and maybe still has some life left to it. That's one thing, but I'm not seeing a lot of that. Not to say it's not out there somewhere. When I looked, I didn't see it. It jumped from a couple years old to 15 to 20 years old and pretty much used up, I would say. I spoke with a local business owner that had recently purchased a used truck like that. He had indicated he pretty much uses it on the job sites to haul dirt from one spot to another, and he said that he would not send someone to Leavenworth to haul asphalt in that particular truck. So I mean, I think there's a use for those things, for what we're doing. We got a lot of, we plan for these overlays. We have a lot of people on site. We're sending them off to get hundreds, if not thousands of dollars of asphalt, and to be dealing with frequent breakdowns, which is what we were dealing with before we bought the newer dump trucks a few years ago. I don't think it's the direction, in my opinion, that we would want to go.
Well, I think
This also
rolling
works-
asphalt from Leavenworth up here, I think a good option is to hire trucks to do it.
This also is a winter plow. We are currently down a plow. Thankfully, we had a mild winter this year.
Yeah.
Last year, if we were down a plow with those large storms that we had, there would have been major problems in the city. So another situation where staff would recommend and request to have vehicles that they can rely on, especially when you get a foot snowstorm. I don't want staff needing rescued from other staff because of a breakdown while they're running a plow. So that's our recommendation.
Okay.
And I would just add that anytime Chief Weiser or Chief Wilson would like to borrow the 5-ton, I would green light that. And
Okay. All right, very good. Any other questions?
Chief, you don't need a Bearcat.
This truck is replacing a 2.5-ton truck?
Correct. Yeah.
And I apologize for not looking at it, because what would the likelihood of a 2.5-ton truck, what would it be money-wise?
You would look at those.
We got a price right before this meeting. It was 10% lower cost. 10%,
Than the
$17,000 savings and half the hauling capacity.
$17,000 savings.
I think
for
you
half
got
the
to use
hauling.
one bigger truck.
We have a 5-ton already. So the last time we bought trucks, we bought 3, 2 2.5s and 1 5. And we hadn't had a 5-ton for quite a while previously. It was, I don't want to say it was experimental, because we knew what we wanted to do with it. We wanted it to, we had a specific purpose. It's done that. We have found it to be useful, and with the increased paving that we've been doing, the increased hauling, that's
Haul
why.
more per trip.
So
from Leavenworth
we'll be
per mile.
actually, because we're gonna have an aggressive overlay season this year, right?
Hopefully.
I mean, that's the
Yeah, that's the
intent.
plan.
Yeah, with everything. So having this bigger truck will make it more cost-effective for us to do that than necessarily contract somebody else to do. As far as talking about the overlay part.
I don't think it will eliminate us contracting hauling, but the more that we can haul ourselves, then less hauling for
It's
the
more,
the
each
contract
project would be
service.
more efficient.
Well, if you take $10 a ton to haul asphalt, well, you got to haul a lot of tons. 50,000.
But again, it's not just hauling
I know.
asphalt. It's a truck that
I
does a
know.
lot of other things. Half the year, it's
Well,
salt
the
and,
snowplow, you can buy those state surplus trucks. They work good for snowplows.
again,
You got a snowplow on them and everything. They bring less than.
Again, our recommendation is not to send out a used vehicle of that nature in a snowstorm when we're talking about staff and, they already have to, for plows, staff are already dealing with difficult situations. Having to deal with a truck that might break down is not our current recommendation.
Sorry.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
was just going to ask Mark would you like to see in whichever motion that is made tonight to address the potential ARPA?
Yeah,
Or
I
is
mean,
that
we could
something
talk
on the
about
back
that a
end?
little bit.
Okay.
We currently have, and as he mentioned, there's an action item in a little bit to talk about this as well. We currently have around $140,000 in the remaining of the ARPA funds that the city received from the federal government during the COVID pandemic. All cities, any public entity that received that funding has to spend it out the door, not projected, it has to be spent and accounted for by the end of 2026, or you have to send it back to the federal government. I do not currently recommend sending that money back. We allocated, you all allocated that money towards various city projects because you wanted to have the freedom to do things of this nature. Staff has a recommendation in a little bit to consider for upgrading the phone systems in the city. That would save us long-term money. I like projects for this ARPA money that is a one-time expense that saves us money in the future. So I kind of put both of these things in that camp. I believe, being able to get a nicer truck that hauls more capacity will make us more efficient, save us money in the future, and, secure our staff in an appropriate way. So my question is, if you wanted to, we could discuss putting the balance of the ARPA money towards something like this in the ERP, which would then save $100,000, but around there is about what would be remaining. It would save that money towards future purchases that we're contemplating in the ERP. So, it actually would take that ARPA money and make it deliver something for us in the future. So,
What about this $56,000 to put the dump bed on it? Did we look into that? I mean, there's a dump bed advertised on Facebook Marketplace today for $15,000.
this one's 23. This one's 23. So a new one's 23, used one's 15. That seems
Yeah, it's not a used one. It was a new one.
okay.
But there's a $10,000 shop fee on putting it on, plus this other stuff. I can't believe we can't get that put on for less money than that. I put those dump beds on. It's not that difficult. I know a couple places that would put it on.
They didn't bid on the project. I would,
didn't
again,
know
as
about
we've,
it. They didn't know about
these bids are placed publicly. These entities found out about it. The whole point of a public bid process is to ensure that anyone who wants to can bid on it. If we don't get the bids that we like, we can go out for bid again, but we can't just accept, well, I think that place would do it better, because that's specifically what you're trying to avoid with a public bid process. So we advertise these bids in the appropriate places. We put it in the newspaper. We put it out publicly. So
Correction, on the specific, on the upfitting, I can't stand here and say that is accurate with this thing.
Which one?
The upfitting component of it. For the history of, the last 10, 20 years, there's only been about 3 companies that have ever bid on those. And so those may have been specifically.
Okay, that needs to be
accepted.
publicly bid.
But
So I would state that needs to be publicly bid for that value.
I don't imagine that anyone else will bid though. So.
Any other questions? Concerns?
I can guarantee you could have got another bid. I know 2 places that would have bid on doing this. But it's one of those things.
Is it
we're
a
not-
business
I don't know how
business
you
or
have
a
to
person?
Contact each individual. We got the people that do this are not interested in doing the concrete work. They aren't interested in doing the water plant work, but they are interested in doing something like this. They would have bid on it. I can assure you that you could put that bed on that truck for less than $10,800.
Is the entity that you're thinking of a person or a business?
No, it's a business. There's 2 businesses that could have put less money than
And they supply the upfitting. You don't just bring them a.
They
one
do
that
it
you-
all the time. That's what they do. They do work like this.
But they're a dealer for the dump bed, for example.
Or do you have to buy the dump bed and bring it to them?
I don't know that for sure. They have a source for it, I'm sure. And I'm just saying that there's no way that we can't get that dump bed put on for less than this total over here of $56,000 when we can buy a complete dump truck for $20,000. I mean, it's just, we could have done something different there. I think we still could. We could accept the truck bid if you think we need to have this new truck, which I don't. But this part here of it, I think we could postpone that and check into it a little more. Is that something we can do or not?
The only downside that I could imagine of postponing would be that the prices tend to go up. I don't know that that's the case.
We can put that out for bid again if the city commission wants to.
I think it's a chance to save a little bit of money here again, just like that other stuff I brought up. It's just, I know of 2 places that would have bid on this thing. If I'm wrong, I'll be wrong on it, but I
And we,
just
and
think
we can spend, we'll publicly advertise it, but then if you can supply us with the contact information, we can send specific invitations to bid to
But I
those
mean, if we
folks.
simply put out that, if we just put out a place, say somebody that just works on trucks, for instance, if they won't continuously monitor our putting out bids, we kind of have to pursue who's working on these different weird projects like that, and pursue them and ask them to bid on it, I think.
We do. We have a list. He was saying we do send them out.
This is so strict. I mean,
We put it out publicly, and we do send it personal invitations to publicly bid, because we know that those companies do a project of that nature.
I would support doing what Mike says, let's buy the truck and send
Try
the
this,
other
what
part out of
happens.
it for bid.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he'll surprise some names. I don't know if this is appropriate, I'm just gonna say, because Mike knows more about this than I do. Is it appropriate for you to give him, when you're putting something out for bid, give a copy to Mike Slattery? And then if he has people that he thinks it should go to, he can make them aware of what's coming up. If I had
It's
somebody
a-
that could save me money, I would be interested in.
It's a public, if we go out for public bid, it's public, so any of you
They'd
can
have to
see
bid.
it.
They'd have to bid.
I'm just saying that any of you can see it, so if any of you ever see a public bid that you think you know someone who
Well,
could
the
bid
first
on
I
it,
knew
sure, you
about
can.
this was-
But yes, of course, yeah.
The first I knew about this was what we talked about the other day. That's
I understand.
The first I knew about.
But I kind of, you look at this quote here, and we've got $10,800 labor.
I tell you what, if we can mess around 2 days putting that bed on, you're gonna.
And I'm not saying, I've never put a bed on a truck.
I
don't
have.
know.
I put a bunch of them on.
But I'm gonna guess that $10,000 seems like a lot of money.
Again,
Especially if you're the one selling it. Because I don't think they have.
Some of that other stuff's actually kind of a reasonable price, that tarp, $2,000,
Yeah.
some of that other stuff's about right.
I
just think,
I will add that the distinction between having a company like that welding on all those components is different. I'm not a good welder myself.
What I would,
they're not
if
gonna weld
if I
this on a
was
parking lot somewhere,
a
that's all.
proficient welder, amateur, I wouldn't want to take on the responsibility, nor would I ask one of my employees that have the ability to weld to take on that thought of, what if that weld breaks? It's not certified in
No, that's
any
a very
way.
good point.
And
That's
so
a
you're
very
paying,
critical
you're
point.
paying for the professional installation.
and the requirement that the city has for anyone we work with about insurance and everything else will remain, no matter who. And we don't always go with the low bid for that exact reason as well. If we see something in there and we say, well, this entity's going
One
to
of
do a
these
better
companies-
job, then.
One of these companies changed the running gear out on 20 of
That's
those
great.
tanks you see 2 years ago that I know about. And they've done work for me. They've stretched trucks, made them longer. They've done, put beds on trucks for me
It's
when I
fine.
didn't have
We,
time.
if the city commission would like to vote on that, we can put
Okay.
the dump bed purchase installation back out to bid.
Okay, so we would just need to authorize staff, if, gentlemen, if this is what we would like to do, the motion would be to authorize staff to purchase a 5-ton international cab and chassis from Rush Truck Center in the amount of $113,384.46. And that's where the motion would end. So, do I have?
I'd make that motion.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, is there a question, concern? Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we authorize staff to purchase a 5-ton international cab and chassis from Rush Truck Center in the amount of $113,383.46.
I have one question I forgot to ask about that. Are we sure we want to buy an automatic transmission truck?
That's what we've been running. It's probably been over.
I know it takes about $40,000 to fix one of them. And my opinion is, if we don't have somebody that can drive a standard transmission truck, we probably shouldn't even buy a truck.
I don't recall that we've had a transmission issue that wasn't under warranty on one of our big trucks in recent memory.
Okay. Okay, all right. With that being said, all those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
And then we'll talk about ARPA stuff at the end.
Okay, sounds good. Next, we have wastewater treatment plant with the UV bulbs.
There's no motion on the lift thing?
You
do
gave
we-
direction,
Okay.
you gave direction
Yeah,
to
we
put
did.
that back out for bid. So we will do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so we have kind of an annual purchase, almost annual. We don't do it every single year, but we budget for it every year. So recently, I think it was last month, we presented a controller for the UV system down at wastewater treatment plant. Just as a review, the UV system uses ultraviolet light to disrupt the reproductive cycles of, or not cycles necessarily, but the reproductive abilities of the microorganisms that are problematic for health and things of that nature. This is kind of the last step in the wastewater treatment process. Imagine a concrete trough with wastewater that's been through most of the plant, flowing through it. Tubes of ultraviolet lights are submerged into the water as the water flows by, and that's what causes the disruption to the organisms. So last month, like I said, the PLC is what it's called, was kind of a, I don't want to say it was a surprise to it. We know we've been kind of limping it along for a couple years, but it was around 31,000. The budget this year for UV bulbs was 50. And it's not just bulbs. There's the sleeves that they fit in, or the transparent tubes that get, if you recall, a few years ago, we bought some wipers. They're automatic wipers that slide along there. And as you can imagine, wastewater, even treated, is not the most kind substance out there. So these transparent plastic sleeves get cloudy, they get scuffed, they get whatever. So when they get that way, they become more opaque. The UV light becomes less effective, and they're therefore less effective on neutralizing these microorganisms. So what we're actually proposing tonight is bulbs, and then new sleeves, some seals for that, and various other things to kind of replenish or renovate components of that system. The total cost, and I should add before I say that this is a sole source. All of our UV stuff is Trojan Technologies. There's no other competition. It's a proprietary system. I don't say there's no other competition, but this is proprietary, so it's not like we can go out for multiple bids every time. We're kind of locked in with this company. But the quote that we have is $44,949.90. As I said, we have already spent 31 and coded it to UV. That was not as, it wasn't part of that budget. That puts us over, and what we're going to do is offset that overage by underspending as long as we can. Some other annual programs such as curb and gutter. There's annual curb and gutter that comes out of there. There's green solutions type of, there's facility improvements. There's a 6 or 7 annual programs that we can control. And then 2 weeks from today, I will have a harder one to present to you guys to figure out how we're going to absorb that into our plan as well. But this one should not be hard to absorb. And there's not another option. We're required by law to have the system in place and control these things. So
we need a motion on this?
We do.
I so move.
All right, it's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we authorize staff to purchase replacement UV bulbs, seals, and sleeves from Trojan Technologies in the amount of $44,941.90. Are there any questions?
I'd like to say, let's try to get away from these sole vendor guys if we can somehow, I don't know how. Maybe there's no other choice. I can't believe they're in some way escaping from people that we're tied to that way.
You replace the system. But yeah.
Then we watch out we don't sign up for another one.
Yeah, I mean, that's the difficulty, right? It's
it is.
proprietary technology, so they have it patented and.
I like
Okay. If nothing further, all those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I just want to say one thing. I really appreciate Clinton calling the bacteria problematic.
Yes. All right. Mr. Westhoff, VoIP.
It's just correct way to say it, you know. Okay, so as we kind of mentioned a little bit, as of right now, the city currently pays around $4,500 per month to a combination of vendors, including AT&T and Vive and others, for landline phone services, POTS lines, fax lines. Basically, think of your traditional hardline phone connection that everybody used to have and fewer people have every day. For all of those, we pay around $4,500 per month. Part of the reason that dollar amount is so high is that a handful of those entities have been telling us, this is very expensive for us, we're not going to be supporting this for much longer, and get ready because at some point we're going to tell you your lines don't work anymore. We've undertaken a handful of projects throughout the city to already make those moves. If you recall, last year, I believe, we upgraded the communications devices on the water towers to move away from these hard lines to digital internet communications, LTE, those kinds of things. We determined that it would be a good idea to get out in front of that so we're not caught off guard when those entities let us know that they're not going to support it anymore and we have to get it fixed right away. Our new IT services provider, Conduit Technical Services, offers voice over IP and other internet phone solutions through our existing contract with them. So we don't have to pay them anything extra. It's part of the services that they provide. You just have to pay for the services if you upgrade with them. However, we're really happy with Conduit since we made the move to them, and so we asked them to provide a proposal for the city to change from those hardline connections to voice over IP throughout the city. What you have in front of you there is their managed voice services proposal. Couple things to note here. First, the proposal in front of you, the monthly cost would reduce from $4,500 a month to $2,660 per month for the entire city, for every phone, fax, everything. So that's already a savings, a per month savings of about $2,000. It does cost something to make that transition, and so that's the the hardware and the installation is estimated around $33,000. They do think that's likely an overestimation. They went through and said, this is if we replace every current desk phone with a desk phone. I will not be getting a desk phone if we make this switch because you can also have it forward to a cell phone. You can have it do a soft phone through your computer. You can use a headset instead of a desk phone. So it gives staff some flexibility. This is if everybody said, we want to get a new desk phone exactly like we had. And some will, and that'd be fine as well. But it would be less expensive if, this is a not to exceed amount, essentially. The recommendation of staff is to utilize ARPA funds to complete this project. Again, as I discussed before, my ideal project for ARPA funds would be something that's a one-time cost to make a change that then saves money or makes staff more efficient going forward. This does both, if I'm honest. It would save money, as you can see, $2,000 per month around, and it would make staff more efficient. It would enable, it would also make us more secure. As of right now, those lines can be tapped, and it's uncommon, but it can happen. with this, it would fall under our cybersecurity agreement with Conduit, where they would manage all of that for us and make sure it's secure within their security infrastructure. You can go in these systems and, you know, route phone calls. So the idea of a phone on someone's desk ringing and ringing and ringing while they're at lunch because they didn't forward it correctly would no longer be a problem. It would just automatically forward to someone else, and you set up the call tree. So it also would make us, you know, more efficient at responding to residents when they call. So all of that, I would recommend moving forward with this. I did include a change order just in case there are items that come up that we really need to have when they get in to start tearing out the wiring. If there's something that they didn't expect, you know, being able to capture that. But I would also recommend utilizing the ARPA funds, to the $140,000 balance in ARPA funds to complete this project.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And I know that it is getting increasingly more and more expensive with the landlines, and we do need to move to something that is more efficient and current. So,
Well, I'd so move if you need a motion on that.
we do. Okay, it's been moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we authorize staff to execute the proposed IT service quote with Conduit Technical, services for managed voice services upgrade totaling $33,736.30 with a $5,000 change order and a $2,660 monthly charge. The one-time charges will utilize ARPA funds. If there are no further questions, all those in favor, please state by
I
saying.
want to say one thing. I wanted to tell Mr. Mark to guard our 5,000 change order.
Yeah, of
Yes.
course.
I know you will.
They can go towards that dump
I know
truck.
you will. Okay.
All right.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's quite all right. All right, all those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Mr. Westhoff, Communications.
I will try to be quick. I did want to note in the communications here that city staff received on March 23rd from the Government Finance Officers Association their annual certificate of achievement for our 2024 audit. So shout out to Reagan and her employees who put together a great audit for the 2024 year. We are about to enter the audit for the 2025 year. So shout out to her. We continue to receive these certificates of achievement for excellence in financial reporting year after year. So we know that the audit is in good shape.
Yes, good job, good job.
It is.
Yep. What's the library board deal?
It's just the library board minutes, sorry.
Okay.
Library board minutes from their last meeting.
Okay,
There's
All right.
not too
Or
much.
anything?
Nope, just for your review.
okay.
And then I have a few quick things for an update, so then you guys can get home and go to bed and get back to work tomorrow.
National championship game.
Oh, that's sorry, yeah, national championship.
Last or something.
Artemis is around the moon, so.
Can we put it on TV?
Yes. That we- no.
All right, few project updates, and you're gonna hear a phrase over and over here, pending rain. So, we have, if you check the forecast, it's supposed to start pouring for a couple days coming up, so a lot of the projects are kind of anticipating that. First is not one, the ozone gas meters that you all approved at the water treatment plant are currently being installed. We have removed the auxiliary pumps from the river, which we install every winter as the water levels drop. The river is currently at 7 feet. I will note something that we've received some questions about. The fishing and boat dock installation, we do not, so at 9 feet, the river's at 7 feet right now. At 9 feet, the docks still sit on the rocks. So we don't put them out. We're not gonna sit them on the rocks. You can't use them anyway, and they just get damaged. We wait until the river is at least at 11 feet, and honestly, we prefer 12 before scheduling the dock installation. So that usually is closer to Memorial Day, often even after Memorial Day. If people have a concern with that, I encourage you to reach out to the Army Corps of Engineers, who determines the height of the river. And maybe there's some rain coming, we can get it up. I don't know. The city does not make those determinations, and we can't put the docks out on the rocks. So as much as we would love to, we can't do that. You all approved an agreement with the International Forest of Friendship to repair and repave their private road. Our crews are starting that work this week. The Patriot Street Bridge project over in the Branchton area, the sidewalk and concrete work are complete now. After this round of rain passes, they are going to complete the asphalt. Then there will be fencing, some backfilling and reseeding. They anticipate trying to get it open within about 2 weeks of the asphalt going down. So, sidewalk projects, we are focusing now on a few of the repairs that need to happen. For example, on the Riverfront Trail, we mentioned before that washed out last year, and we were waiting for that to settle, which we think it has now. That will be poured this week or next, rain permitting. The airport project, after your approval a few meetings back of the change order there, the contractor was planning to mobilize this week. Because of the rain, they're looking at next week. That's very good news. So they will get out there and get back to work on the runway to be completed this year. Just a note that is not rain dependent, we are working on an upgrade for our city website. That is in progress. So I will have, when I have some potential designs to look at, I'll share those with you all. But we are planning for a rollout for the new city website this summer. So hopefully that will increase people's use of the website. And we also have our summer job openings available on the city website as well. Quite a few temporary and full-time positions. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Westhoff. All right, governing body comments, Commissioner Greenlee.
Just kudos and congratulations to Reagan and her department for a job well done. Appreciate it.
Okay, very good.
Good job.
Vice Mayor?
I'm good.
You're good? Okay, all right, Commissioner Slattery?
I probably shared enough ideas for one night.
Okay, Commissioner Murphy.
I would just like to publicly acknowledge Benedictine College letting us go on a tour of their new library, which is remarkable. It's a big asset to our community as Benedictine College is becoming more and more an asset to our community. And if anybody drove up and looked at the east of 2nd Street housing, it's remarkable. The new houses we've had built. Very promising, very promising. There's a lot of bad things, but there's still more good things.
Yeah, absolutely, and I would just echo congratulations to Reagan and our financial team. Huge thank you, as you said, Commissioner Murphy, to Benedictine College, because it truly was impressive to be able to see the construction of the library, and it's wonderful, wonderful addition to the city. I would also like to again thank CASA for coming and just be mindful of our youth and also the work that CASA does, the work that the Department for Children and Family does to protect our young people, and would just encourage, if you do have time, to seek volunteering with CASA, as well as congratulations to Mrs. Frances Strebe and Carrie Sowers on their legacy of childcare here in Atchison, and then, of course, congratulations to Ms. Octavia Burnett, and looking forward to Octavia Burnett Day on Friday, and just again, congratulations to her on her championship. With that, if nothing further.
So moved.
Wonderful. Vice Mayor has moved that we adjourn. Commissioner Slattery has seconded. All those in favor, please state by saying aye. All those opposed, same sign. We are adjourned.
Kids are